Sorry I kept you waiting forever and a day. But now we're out here together with nothing standing in our way. Can you feel the attraction? Feel the attraction. Can you feel it between us? This energy's inside us like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Like electricity. Taking over your body, it's flowing through your mind. This feeling's got me on fire. Don't ever leave it all behind. Can you feel the attraction? Feel the attraction. Can you feel it between us? This energy's inside us like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Feel the love. Can you feel me?
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes. Yeah. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
I fell and lost to the war, shot me dead. I was lost and sad to the voices in my head. I'm gonna get up again. I'm gonna get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up again. I'm gonna get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up again. Look into my eyes. My heart beats like a drum. You listen to my lies. Love is far to come. Your love is far. Running at the speed of light, kissing every city lights. Calls me in this morning time, but it just goes on. Running at the speed of light, kissing every city lights. Calls me in this morning time, but it just goes on. Gotta get up again. I'm gonna get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get I'm gonna get up
Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, traders. Muted? Always muted. What's going on, everybody? How we doing tonight? Come on in. Come on in. Please, grab a chair. Please, have a seat. The GOAT. What's going on, Profast Guy? Look at everyone in chat tonight. We got 75 viewers. Colonel, welcome. Hawkeye Echo, thank you for the first time. Chat, David, welcome to the stream. Uptrend, always welcome to the stream. I Dislike Mayo, how you doing tonight? Axe, LOL, Golden Days, Terp Sinner. What's going on tonight, guys? Welcome. Come on in. Thank you, Kat, for the 5 subs. Let's go. You are legendary. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. How you guys doing tonight? Let's get a 1 in the chat if you're doing well tonight. Dude, what is with my chat box? Hang on. They actually changed it back. There we go. Sick, let's go. Level 3 hype train? Okay. All right, guys, tonight we have a very, very special guest, okay? We've got the legendary, the incredible, the magnificent Theta Warrior. The real one. Not even one of the thousands of the fakers out there. all those scammer accounts. I think he's got a lot. Blows air horn? Yeah. All right, guys. Let me show you where to find him. If for some reason you know who I am, but not Theta Warrior, first of all, you're doing it wrong. But let me show you. Let me show you the proper way here, okay? Flip over to your Twitter. Bam. There he is, Theta Warrior out on Twitter. Please give him a follow. If you're not, don't know what you're doing. One of my first follows, I think, actually, when I started my account. All right, guys, without any further ado, he is waiting. Okay. On the sidelines. Let's get him in here, and let's start this thing. Welcome. Hope you guys had an awesome day today. If you're green on the day, slap a 1 in the chat and tell me what you played today. Love to hear it. Switch the music over, and we'll hop into the call. Make sure everything's working. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. Awesome.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. And what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Huge shout, man. Thanks for coming on. This is super, super cool. I've been following you since like day 1, I feel like, when I downloaded Twitter.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's been a fun journey.
Let me just adjust the levels here real quick. Okay, perfect. Can you say something again? I'm just seeing in chat that they can't hear you.
Yeah. Test.
Yep, that's perfect. It's coming through on my end. All right. Welcome. Thanks for coming on the show today. I truly appreciate it. Once again, guys, Theta Warrior out on Twitter, Black Box Stocks, and I believe there is. You also have a paid service as well, which is great. We love that. So essentially tonight what we're going to do is we're going to go over strategies, options flow, and just kind of do a deep dive into Theta Warrior's trading style and kind of, how he's sort of made a name for himself and found success and consistency in the market.
Well, thanks, man. It's a battle every day, right? You have to learn something new every day.
Of course. 100%, man. I never stop learning. And there's so much to learn, and there's so many different ways to trade. So, and that's why I do this show, just to kind of get all these different views, right? But so the way I start these off is, first of all, how was your week so far?
It's been good. Actually, I had a good day today.
Okay.
Great day on Monday. Difficult market that we're in currently, but making the most of it and trying to close every day green. That's always the goal, right? So overall, I got no complaints.
Awesome. Let's get into a bit of your story. Not too much detail, but just as far as kind of how you found trading and how you sort of developed your style and got to how you like to trade today.
Sure. So my father was involved in finance, and he got me involved in the stock market, or just basically explained to me what it was from a young age. And it was kind of just always in the background of my life, going through school and living my life and starting to earn a living. And I started to read up more on it and study it and watching videos and things. And I really just found a knack for it and just kind of fell in love with technical analysis. That's really how I got started. I thought it was so interesting that, these patterns would continue to repeat over time, simply just based on human psychology, and then the fact that people will react in similar ways to similar situations. And I just thought that was fascinating. So I just ran with it. And, I started trading, small on the side. First off, just with stocks, common stock. And then I got involved in options. And man, once I found leverage, I never looked back. So I saw, trading as a way that I could work for myself and, achieve financial freedom and be my own boss.
Yes,
And
sir.
it was something that, I loved and that I really wanted to do and I was passionate about. And yeah, I've never looked back. I love it.
100%, man. That's a really, really cool story. So when you first started trading, were you working at the time? Did you have a smaller account to start off with?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Right.
I think I started with like $1,000, $2,000 or something.
Okay.
And my first trade was profitable. I'll never forget. It was AMAT, and I
I
made
remember
money,
that.
which is like a curse if you're familiar with trading because you think it's, oh, this is easy. I
Yeah.
can do this, no problem. So sure enough, I was humbled, just like every new trader is, and I realized, you really got to put in some effort here. But yeah, I did have a job. I was doing something else. I was working. Luckily, it involved, being on the computer. So I was
Nice.
able to kind of, jump back and forth and check the market and, look at my positions on the phone, doing that whole thing. Um,
That's what
but
I'm doing
yeah,
right now.
yeah, I know there's a lot of people that do that, and that's perfectly fine. We're not going to be, overnight success stories, traders, when we wake up in the morning. So, it takes a lot of time and effort and, sometimes years of practice to be able to do it to the point where you're consistent and then you can actually leave your job and do it full time, which is what I ended up doing.
Awesome. No, yeah, no, makes perfect sense. Now, did you ever, just because this is a very common theme, when we discuss these small accounts and stuff like that, did you ever have a moment where you actually blew up and had to reload your account?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It's painful.
Right.
And I think it's a rite of passage. And
Right.
I've only talked to one other trader, a pro trader, who said that they never blew up an account. Every other person I've spoken to said that it's happened to them. Different dollar amounts. Sometimes $50,000 down the drain. Just to learn. Um, but it's something that happens. Risk management, to me, is the most important part of trading because that's what's gonna give you a chance at survival. So I think when you lose that money, you blow up your account, then you start to think, okay, well, what could I have done differently to make that not happen again in the future. It's probably pay attention more to the risk management side of things.
Right, right. Okay. And as far as like TA and how you like to trade, what are some things that you do to kind of lower your risk when entering, let's say?
That's a good question. So, I try not buy super high volatility options, which if those move against you or the implied volatility comes down, you can get crushed. There's also different things I do in terms of strategies. Like I use a lot of spreads, vertical spreads, both debit and credit, because when you're in that position, you're still short premium. So that's kind of a hedge. Also, position sizing is a big one.
Right.
Obviously options don't trade after hours, so anything can happen overnight. Like imagine if you had Amazon puts right now, you're getting smoked and there's nothing you can do about it till the open. So I think, position sizing is huge and, not making, bigger bets than your portfolio can handle. I mean, consistency is what's going to get you, to be successful on a long enough time frame. Home runs are hard to duplicate on a regular basis. I think, the singles definitely add up.
Got you, got you. So what we can do is I want to we'll share your screen and we'll go over some specific TA. But I want to know a little bit more about obviously you're big into options flow, and we've had traders on the show who are and they're huge about it, and traders who aren't so much into it. So how did you find options flow, and why was that such a big part of your trading journey and how you trade today?
Sure. So good question. as an options trader, you're always looking at, other trades that go across in the market. I'm looking at the volume of a certain strike that I'm in. And, I use Thinkorswim, and on Thinkorswim on the bottom tab, you can, see like the different, volume coming in for different strikes and things like that. But it's really disorganized and it's hard to kind of interpret it, all at one time. So I use a flow service called Black Box Stocks. I'm an affiliate, by the way. I work with them. They're awesome at what they do. I'm a big believer. And to me, it was just, first off, fascinating to see, oh my gosh, this trader just put $1 million in these Apple calls. I wonder if they know something, so you pay attention to things like that. And then after a while, you start to see, okay, well, this is interesting flow because it's, repetitive, and they're buying the same strike over and over and over again. And, just kind of piqued my interest from that because it's almost like a window into like the collective mind of the options market. You can see what all of these different players are doing, whales and fish, alike. Everyone plays in the same arena in the options world. So looking at the flow and interpreting the flow was, just a way to really give me another edge. It's just another tool in the toolkit, something you can use to either confirm or deny your own thesis, basically.
Right, right. And that quote unquote smart money and all that stuff, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Got you. Something that I noticed that I like about your flow posts is you'll say things like bullets or grenade and stuff like that. Can you walk through really quick like what you mean when you're describing that flow?
Sure. Yeah, that's good to clear that up because
Yeah.
I get questions about that all the time.
Okay.
Bullets, in my mind, are just like two quick shots, across the, whatever the term is, across the main of the ship. Just two quick bets, large calls that are purchased, on the ask, above the ask, decent sized money. Usually I look for 500,000 to $1 million per. Just shows like a lot of aggression and a lot of interest, and someone is just really trying to get in really quickly. So bullets in my mind would be bullish, and then grenades, of course, blow up. That would be like the same thing but in reverse with a put. So someone comes across and sweeps a large number of puts, usually like two consecutive trades, one after another, just tap, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. No. Okay. Oh no. Thank you. Bazookas, someone says in chat.
Yeah, bazooka. I think that's actually a Wall Street Jesus term.
Okay.
He's like the OG of options flow, and he's got some great ones like Darth Vader, put sweeper,
Let's
funny stuff like
go.
that. But yeah, bazooka I think would be like 5 million and up. A nuke might be 10 million and up. Stuff like that.
Okay. Cool. They need like their Twitter bio should just be the legend of how they're doing the callouts. One thing that I think is really interesting is when flow comes in that can be potentially misleading. How do you navigate that space? Is it in your settings that you try to navigate bad flow or incorrect flow, maybe a selling of a put instead of a purchase of a put, for example? How do you navigate that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to show you. I don't know if you can see my screen or not. I can
Let's
just
pull
kind
it
of
up.
show you really quickly on Black Box here, because that's another big thing. People are always asking: is it buying? Is it selling? Is it opening? Is it closing?
Right.
Black Box makes it pretty, simple or as simple as it can be to interpret, because obviously there's a ton of information, and there's obviously a lot of stuff going on, and you have to be able to filter out the noise, basically.
Right.
Can you see my screen now?
Yep, it's up on Twitch. We should be good.
Okay, perfect. So this is Black Box. This is the flow here. This is all of the flow that came in today. As you can see, it's a ton of stuff. And we'll just look at Square really quickly because this is the first one that popped up. So you can see all the different calls, all the different puts. Basically, what I'm looking for is to see what side of the spread these went off on. So you see all these A's and double A's. That's ask side and above ask. That's usually going to interpret buying. So someone is buying these. They're lifting the offer. This is likely going to be a new opening position. And then if we look at the other side, which would be the bid side, that's usually going to be selling. So this person here, likely sold this 140 call. let's see, scroll down a little more. This guy right here likely got out of his 105 puts. So the quickest and simplest way, now it's not 100%, but a good rule of thumb is what side of the spread it went off on. Ask side is buying, bid side is going to be selling. And then the different colors are going to denote different things to do with the open interest. So, for example, like the white lines mean that the open interest has not been exceeded. Purple means it has been exceeded. And then these yellow lines actually mean the open interest was exceeded in a single trade, the trade that you're looking at specifically.
Wow. Okay.
So when you use all of that information in conjunction, it can tell you different things. Like, for example, everyone's always wondering, what is a bullish put? A bullish put is a put that's written. It's an opening put. So someone is selling that put to collect premium.
Right.
And I'll just show you one really quickly. So, some of these are not going to be opening, but for the majority of these, a lot of these are going to be opening trades. And this trader is essentially, selling this put to collect premium. So they're either, thinking that the stock is going to move higher. Generally, that's the main thinking there. The implied volatility is high, and they want to collect on the premium. So when you use the colors together and the different spreads, that can give you like a good idea of kind of what's happening.
Okay, got you. So throughout the day, are you constantly changing up your settings and kind of switching it up? And can you kind of walk through what that looks like from open to, let's say, midday?
Yeah, of course. So I don't know if there's a delay on the stream or not.
There is. It's about 4 to 6 seconds.
Okay, just checking. Yes. So I have like multiple tabs open for Black Box.
Okay.
And I'll look at basically the first one I set up, I'll show you, is anything over $500,000. That's what I want to know about. These are big trades. Generally, if there's going to be a big move, the sweepers are going to come in and they're going to be adding, multiple, trades within this setting here. So I'm looking at the 500,000. I look at the blocks. I look at the sweeps. A sweep is basically just a more aggressive trade. A block is a limit order, basically. Think of like a sweep as a market, block is going to be a limit.
Okay.
And then, like I said, the bid side stuff, you can unclick, you can check. This little window here is what kind of allows you to filter everything out. So I'll kind of have this one up and running, looking at everything all together. And then I'll have another tab, 2, maybe 3 open, that I'm just looking at a particular ticker that I'm interested in seeing it trade. For example, like, we were trading AMD today.
Gotcha.
So I'll be looking at specifically just AMD. I want to see if they're getting in, if they're getting out, what the sentiment is like. And, having it all filtered and nice is a way to, just concisely see it all together and make a decision based upon it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And so how often are you comparing flow with the chart? Like when will you go from flow to the chart?
Oh man, every day. I mean, I use them pretty much in conjunction together.
Okay.
I don't like to place a trade without consulting the flow. Everything I do pretty much starts on the charts. Occasionally some really interesting flow will come in. I'll just quickly reference the chart. I'll say, okay, this looks good, and then I'll follow in with the flow. But most of the time, me personally, I'm starting with the chart. If I'm bullish, I want to check to make sure that the options market is also bullish, because if they're bearish and they're getting on the other side,
right,
maybe I should think twice about getting in on that trade. So I kind of use it to confirm my thesis most of the time. And I have it up and running all day. I have multiple monitors that I use, so it's just constantly just showing me the different sweeps.
Yeah, of course. So what is your monitor setup like?
Well, right now I've got 4 stacked, basically like in a square.
Okay.
I'm going to be adding 4 more actually. I know it sounds crazy, but my new rig is going to have 8. So I've got a lot of different time frames that I look at for charting. I've got a screen for the flow, a screen for my Discord, and Twitter, and I'm looking at 5-minute charts and 15-minute charts and daily charts, and different indicators, and I'm always watching the SPY and the Qs and the VIX. So, the more information that I can have, I think, the better, more accurate decision I can make.
100%. I just want to make a quick note for everyone in chat. We've got roughly 164 viewers. Welcome. If you guys have any questions about black box stocks, feel free to @ me in the chat, and I will read them out as they become appropriate. So maybe we could flip to your charts and go over some charting indicators, TA, like where you like to exit, enter, stuff like that. Do you want to kind of maybe, and you can walk us through your trade today too, if you like. That'd be fine as well.
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about a trade today.
Yeah, let's do that.
So again, and I'll just reiterate with the flow as well. There's many different ways to use it and to trade it. My way may not be suitable for you or your following, and that's okay.
Of course.
We all need to find our special niche, the thing that we feel comfortable with doing, and do that to the best of our ability. So that being said, I like to start on the daily time frame. On the weekends, I'll review the weekly charts because it's nice to get like a longer term picture of things. And then I like to zoom in. So you start big, and then you macro, then you go micro. So I'm getting an idea of AMD. AMD, I've been trading a lot recently, and I'm looking at it. And the nice thing about charting and technical analysis is that it's basically just like a fractal of itself. So you may see, a little triangle on the weekly, and you could see the same triangle on a 5-minute chart. It's just a fractal within itself. So these type of setups, I didn't come up with this term, but it's a brilliant term. It's called BRB, be right back, or breakout, retest, and then bounce. So those can be really powerful setups, and I use them on all time frames. And it's really kind of what I look for when it comes, time for an entry.
Gotcha.
When I was a newer trader, excuse me, when I was a newer trader, I used to buy these breakouts, at the top,
Right. Hey, me
FOMO
too.
in, I think, oh, this thing's breaking out, it's going higher.
Yeah.
And then everyone that was already in starts taking profits, and they pound it back down, and you get stopped out.
Right.
And you're like, what the heck happened there?
Right.
So after enough times of that happening, I thought to myself, well, if I had just waited, 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, an extra day, whatever the case may be, I could have got a much better entry. I could have stopped myself from getting stopped out, and I could have caught the move the next wave higher. So BRB is like, to me, it's a great setup, when it comes time to like looking for an entry.
No, that's sorry, go ahead.
And I use them on all time frames.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm honestly the same way. I call it a break in base, so it's kind of the same idea, I think.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah, no, perfect. We did have a question earlier in chat that I forgot to bring up. It's from Surfdog. Thank you, Surfdog, for the question. When you're trying to, let's say it's the weekend, and you're building that watch list, or even in pre-market when you're getting ready to execute some options trades, how are you finding the tickers that you want to trade, and do you have a core list of a few tickers that you know inside and out, and you just always go back to?
Yes, so that's a good question as well. I do have a cultivated watch list of, maybe 35 to 50 stocks that I've, added and subtracted to over the last few years. Things that move. It's mostly made up of tech names, because tech has great liquidity and it's usually volatile.
Yeah.
So that it's great for an options trader like myself. I want to be able to get in and out when I want to.
Right.
So liquidity is huge. I like to trade a lot of the mega cap. Again, they have the best liquidity. So Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, AMD, things like that. They move around, and they can be really good to trade because they actually respect technical analysis. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking to build a watch list, you can pull up just any stock in the NASDAQ and just sort it by volume and, go from there.
Yeah, 100%. And do you for a big account compared to a small account, would you say you could probably trade the same stocks, or do you think there's better tickers for smaller accounts for those guys to trade? Because I know
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
So no, that's a good point. Not everyone's going to be able to trade, Google or
Right.
Amazon. Well,
Right.
they will now that they're going to split,
Oh
which I think is
yeah.
great for us options traders. I'm really excited about that.
Me too, man.
But yeah, I mean, like, a stock like Neo, AMD, you're looking at like $2-3 for an at the money contract. That's pretty doable, I think,
Yeah.
for most, smaller size trading accounts. And, one thing I'll add is like, you got to be careful not to just buy a cheap contract because it's cheap, and it's like, far out of the money. The reason why those contracts are cheap is because they have a higher probability of going to zero. So the way that the options chain works is like the farther you go away from the money, out of the money, the less likely that's going to work. So the market maker is going to sell it to you for cheaper. On the flip side, if you're right, you can make a higher percentage return, but it's going to happen on a much less consistent basis. So for me, my trading, I'm looking for 30%, 40%, 50%, 100%. Great. I'll take it all day long. But, I think that like singles add up. I don't have a lot of 800% return trades. That's just not my style
Right.
because I think it's difficult to do consistently.
Of course. It's just for the flashy flashy on Twitter, right?
You can do it. More power to them. I mean, that's great. But, like I said, everyone has their own style.
Yeah, 100%, man. So would you consider yourself to be more of a swing trader or day trader? Or both?
Okay, so well, I would say both.
Gotcha.
And it's because of the market conditions. I mean, in
Right.
2021, I definitely found myself swinging a lot more. This market, I tend to be more of a day trader, try to be in cash by the close, just because, I mean, you can see this chop that we've been in.
Yeah.
It's hard to hold anything overnight. You can have a great position on, and, the market just move against you, and you can get blown out of it, and then the next day it keeps going. So that can be frustrating. It can cause drawdowns on your account. And for me, I just think that it works better for my style of trading to just be, flat by the close essentially. But it's going to depend on the market. Every market's going to be different. Maybe the tail end of 2022 will get more of a trending market and it'll be better for swings. But, as a trader, you have to be nimble. You have to be able to adapt and change your process as the market is changing around you.
100%. So walk me through your charts a little bit. So we're kind of on a larger time frame right now. What indicators do you like to use, and what time frames are you using for your swing trading versus day trading?
Sure. So I look at the MACD. That's a big one. It's really simple to just check the momentum of things. I have different moving averages that I look at, like the 8, the 21, the 50, and the 200 are the main ones that I use. But as you can see, they kind of busy up the chart. So
Right.
I only really toggle them on and off as I need to reference them.
Okay.
But the 8MA is good, I think, for lower time frame stuff. Usually price will hover around the 8 AMA. The 200 is a good one for like a longer term type of stuff. I think there's a phrase like nothing good happens below the 200 SMA. Like nothing good happens at the bar after 2 a.m., that kind of thing. And as you can see, this blue one right here that I have my mouse on is the 200. So, market currently is below the 200 SMA. So
Right.
something to keep in mind. Another one I like a lot, and this is great about TrendSpider, is the volume by price.
Oh, it's awesome.
So, on a choppy chart like this, it's kind of difficult to see. But a lot of the time, price will pivot at these peaks and these valleys. So that can be a really powerful tool to see, where most of these shares are being held. And then the other one I like is Gap Snake is great because it just shows you like where open gaps are. It's not on this. There's none on this chart at the time being, it looks like. And then the last one I'll mention is the Fisher Transform, which is a really cool one. It's this one down here at the bottom. It kind of tends to be good at spotting pivots in the market. So for example, let me just turn off all these moving averages here. This is a little secret. You can
Perfect.
see that it will usually mark like the high and the low of certain time frames.
Okay.
So you can see you've got a cross below right here on the Fisher, and that was kind of the day that like the market peaked. And the same thing, on the downside here is it's coming back up above it. It crossed back above itself, the signal line, and then we got a nice little rally in the market. So Fisher Transform can be a powerful indicator to look at on top of the MACD. I kind of use them both together.
Okay, cool. No, I've never heard of the Fisher transform. No one's ever talked about that on the show. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, I think it's lesser known, but it's definitely a good one.
100%. Um, so are you kind of watching the same things on a smaller time frame as well for intraday stuff?
So, to be honest with you, for the smaller time frame stuff, I really just focus on the flow and the price action.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I think that like the MACD can sometimes give you like a lot of crazy signals during the day, and price mostly is just seeking liquidity. So this type of stuff I think plays lesser effect. I look for all the chart patterns, the classical stuff that I would normally trade on the longer time frame stuff, like triangles and pennants and flags and things like that. But mostly for me, I'm just looking at price as well as VWAP. I don't have it on this, but VWAP is a really another powerful tool that price will just hug most of the time and often provide support and resistance. So for the lower time frame, just price and VWAP basically and volume.
Yeah, awesome. I'm pretty similar. I think I had like the 20 EMA or something like that. But so for your day trading strategies, kind of intraday, are you trading more in the mornings, do you find, or the afternoons?
So I like to sit out the first 15, 20 minutes and let all the orders get filled that were placed overnight. I find that there's like a lot of false signals that get generated. Basically, I have like a 50-50, success rate trading the first 15 minutes. So I just scrapped it all together. The way I look at trading is if you're not doing better than 50-50, then what's the point? You can get 50-50 odds betting on black or red. So I think that, with proper technical analysis and looking at the flow, you should be able to increase your chances of success beyond that. So that's the beautiful thing about trading, and that's why trading is not gambling if you do it correctly, because I know a lot of people who aren't familiar with the market think that common misconception. But yeah, I sit out the first 15, 20 minutes. I'm usually active, before lunch. I'm the most active before lunch.
Okay.
During the lunch hour, I kind of tend to, just watch. Then in the afternoon, I'm always looking to see if we're going to get a rip into the close or sell off into the close. Sometimes you can get a nice volatile event into the end of the day as well. But most of my trading probably happens in the first half.
Got you. So as far as when you like to enter a trade, like I don't know if maybe you can walk us through a trade that you took today. I'm not sure we got the chance to do that.
Yeah. So like I said, I traded AMD today,
Okay.
and we're looking at a lower time frame. This was the high of day yesterday, Tuesday, and I said, okay, if price is able to push above this level, it'll be a good time to get into some calls and see if we can get a move higher. And like I said, I normally will always wait for that BRB, that move higher, that retest and that bounce. There is an exception though, and this is a good example of the exception. And it's basically when price will form like a little tiny consolidation or flag just below that resistance level. And that can be really powerful because basically price is just getting ready to push through that level. Now, in this case, it pushed through and then immediately failed. So we didn't get the follow through we were looking for. I got long in this little flag just below it and, scaled out of a few, but mostly got stopped out of scratch, as it came back down. So this trade failed. But, I always say, just because you got stopped out doesn't mean you're wrong. A lot of the time it's just, the timing was off. Maybe something else was happening in the market. So I'm still watching AMD. As it comes back, I get back in. So I basically bought back in right in here.
Gotcha.
And you can see that, even though price did push back below that breakout level, it kind of held this prior, high that it had made during the day.
Right.
Let me see if I can put my thing on it right there. So
Yep.
you can see it kind of held that little level and bounced. So that's a BRB again. And the reason that they'll do stuff like this is because they're trying to stop out everyone like myself that's buying that breakout. I'm a momentum trader. I try and trade with the trend, and they'll sometimes, push price just beyond a level where they think they can fish some stops, and then they'll run. So even though this was the breakout level, my stop is going to be like a little bit beyond that, a little bit lower. Usually I put it, just below where I think there's going to be the next level of support. So it didn't get stopped out this time, and then I ended up catching this move up towards the end of the day. So ended up being a nice trade. I made back my losses that I took in AMD, or on the pieces that I didn't scale out of. And I think that it can be a good learning lesson to anyone that has gotten stopped out and been frustrated and closed their computer or whatever. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong.
No, definitely. I have a question coming in from chat that I want to touch on real quick. Does Theta use market internals, ADD, or TICK? And does he ever use level 2?
Yes. So great question. I will look at I look at ADD every day. That's definitely one that's always up on my chart, along with the VIX. The tick, I reference. I don't have it up all the time. That's also a good indicator, especially for day traders. And then the other one, level 2. Level 2 is great, and I look at that basically like if I'm in something, and stocks, just like let's say AMD, it's stopping at like 110, not moving. I want to figure out why. I pull up the level 2 and I'm looking to see, if they're just sitting there on the ask, they got 100 lot, they're trying to get off, that's preventing it from moving through.
Right.
That's kind of how I use level 2. I look to see, where they're sitting and waiting to sell. If I'm long, where they're trying to get out of. Not something that I am going to say I'm the best at. I'm not, a professional tape reader, because I think that's kind of what they're asking about. Personally, I trade more off the technicals and the flow.
Got you, 100%. I'm basically the same way. Thank you for the question, Airbud. Appreciate it. So let's talk more about the options spreadsheet and what contracts you're actually taking, day trades versus swing trades. And do you have any strategies like laddering or strangles or stuff like that that you kind of use on a regular basis?
Sure, yeah. So personally, I like to stick kind of at the money. I know there's a lot of different schools of thought on what contract to buy. Personally, I like to be about 40 to 50 delta, which at the money is 50 delta. I know some guys like in the money, 60 to 70, others prefer the 30. For me, what works really well is about 50 delta. So, in this case, I bought the 110 call because that's like right at the money. And I find that, basically the reason is because if you look at the way Theta works, it's always going to be highest at the money. Doesn't matter what the expiration is. So if you think about it, let's say you buy the 112 call. As AMD is moving closer and closer to 112, the trade is working in your favor. The Theta is getting higher and higher and higher. So it's decaying quicker against the contract that you're already in. Now on the flip side, if you buy the 110 call, as price is moving higher and higher and higher, Theta is going to be getting lower because you're getting farther away from the at the money strike. So if you're correct, buying the at the money or in the money contract is actually going to have lesser of effect. Theta is going to have lesser of effect on you, which as, an options trader, anyone that's long premium, Theta is your enemy. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. In terms of like strategies, I think a really good one that's underused is a butterfly. Basically, you're just incorporating a long vertical and a short vertical. And essentially like an AMD butterfly would be if you were short 2 of the 110 contracts, you're long a 112 and you're long a 108 call, right? Or put, doesn't matter.
Oh, interesting.
And essentially what you want is for price to stop right at the short contracts that you're in, or I'm sorry, the contracts that you're short, because Theta is going to be on your side with a butterfly. And the way that I use them is, let's say I think AMD is moving to 115 by the end of the week. I'll buy a 115 butterfly. Maybe it's a 110, 115, 120, butterfly, $5 wide on each side. And if AMD ends up closing at 115 at the end of the week, maybe I paid 45 cents for the butterfly and it's suddenly worth, $4 or $5 at the end of the week. So they can be really, really high returns on a very low risk.
Right, got you.
it's kind of hard to explain without
Yeah.
an options chain and everything. I know like visualizing that's probably not the easiest thing, but if anyone's interested, definitely check out butterflies.
Yeah, 100%. That's super interesting. I haven't had anyone kind of describe it, and I think that was a really good description.
And then of course, just like spreads. Spreads are great too.
Right.
You
Right.
know, they can cut down on the cost and also the risk, and you know, kind of give you a little bit more wiggle room on things. So just a simple debit spread would be great. You know, maybe you buy the 110 call here and you sell the 112 against it. That can be a great way for, you know, the smaller accounts to participate in some of these names. You know, the especially like some of the more expensive stocks like Tesla. You know, their at the money contract might be, you know, $20, $30, but you know, a $10 spread might only be, you know, $3 or something.
Right. 100%. So when you're taking a trade, are you scaling in, scaling out, or are you kind of going in heavy and then scaling out, or what's kind of your strategy for as far as scaling goes?
Yeah, so I like to sell into strength, you know, as we're getting like an impulse move higher, you know, like as this move is coming up, making a new high, I'm taking profits here. I'm selling some because you're going to get a spike in the volatility. Obviously, you're getting a nice move in the delta. And, you know, I'm taking profits as everyone else is, you know, kind of buying in. Like me when I was a beginner, right? Buying this, you know, okay, now I'm the guy selling it to my past self. You know what I'm saying? So I'm scaling out during this move, and then at the same time, I'm always pushing up my stop. You know, for this trade, maybe I had my stop down at like 109 or so. So as I'm in the profit range, you know, I'm selling some for a profit, and then I'm moving my stop up maybe to, you know, 109.50, 109.75, constantly pushing the stop. And my goal is, of course, to stay in the move as long as possible because I have no idea how high this is going. I try and not just say, okay, if it gets to, you know, 111, I'm going to be all out. Well, what if it rips to 112 or 113 or 114, you know? So I think pushing a stop and letting the market take you out when it reverses can allow you to stay in a move a lot longer than it would be if you know, just arbitrarily said, okay, I'm selling everything right here. So that's kind of one of my strategies. I try and, you know, capture a little more premium doing.
Right. Right. So as far as we're going to talk about small accounts a little bit again because I think it's relatable for a lot of people who are trying to get into trading or if you're trading at work or whatever. What are some tips that you would have given yourself when you were starting out?
Paper trade.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, that's
Paper
fair.
trade. You know, get used to options. You know, get used to, you know, what it feels like when a position moves against you and how you handle the loss, the risk. You know, and make sure you're not putting on too big of a position. I see a lot of people with smaller accounts blow up because they think, well, I only have $5,000 and I really need to get to that 25 grand so I can escape the pattern day trader rule. You know, so they go full port on something and it goes against them and they blow themselves up. Whereas the other guy who, you know, maybe puts in $1,000, you know, with a 20% stop loss, he's only got $200 of risk. You can survive a $200 drawdown on a $5,000 account. You know, not consistently, but a few times you can definitely survive that. So I think using a stop is really key. I use stops all the time. I think they're great. The other, you know, thinking of course would be to just buy in a position as much as you're willing to lose. So the same trader may say, okay, I'm only going to buy $200 worth of contracts, and if it goes to zero, it goes to zero. I'm not of that thinking. I would rather bet the $1,000 and take the 20% stop. We both have the same risk, but if I'm right, I have $1,000 worth of contracts that are working for me, whereas you only have $200 worth of contracts that are working for you. So that's why I'm a big proponent of that. And another thing you can do is use a cash account. Cash account, you can basically filter through, you know, once a day. Your whole account you can filter through once a day, and then you're done. But PDT, I mean, you can only have, I think, 3 day trades in a 5-day rolling period, which is really hard. And I think PDT actually hurts a lot of traders because, you know, there's nothing worse than being in a position it moves against you and you can't get out. I mean, that's horrible. So I think PDD is actually a bad thing, but I don't make the rules. I just, you know, play by them. So those are a couple tips I would recommend for someone with a smaller account.
Got you. Listen, guys, we'll start to take some Q&A here now. If you guys have any questions, would love to see it up in chat. Anything that you think we kind of missed that we should touch on, Theta?
I think that we covered a lot, actually. This has been going great. But I'm happy to field any questions. We can talk about tickers. We can talk about options. Happy to answer anything. I am really excited about this Amazon split.
Me too,
I'm sure
man.
you heard the news
Yeah.
of the 20-for-1 split, $10 billion buyback. That could be interesting. So this is definitely one I'm watching the coming weeks.
Got you. Okay, we have some questions coming in now. What filters does Theta use on black box stocks? If you want to cover that quickly again.
Sure. So really simply, I'll look at both puts and calls. And to make it easy, if you just want to see buying, I'll look at above the ask and on the ask side only. That's going to show you only buying. If you want to look at only selling, you're going to want to be looking at the bid or below the bid. That's going to show you selling. They can always be selling to open, but they're most likely going to be selling. And then the other one I'll look at, if I don't want to look at the blocks, I'll just toggle on the sweep, because those are going to be the market orders. Those are going to be the more aggressive trades. Those are going to be the ones that we really want to follow in on. So those, in my mind, are more important. And then, the different notional values that you might want to look at. Like when I'm looking at the SPY and the QQQ. Oh, I'll show you something cool, actually. It reminds me. Black Box has a watch list, and you can basically pick whatever tickers you want to look at. Like I have this one set up really easily to show me only the Qs, the SPY, and the VIX. So if I have that selected, I can come back over here to flow, and then I open up the filter again, and I just make sure that ETF is checked. If you don't have ETF checked, then you will not be able to see any of the ETFs. And after I have that checked, I just hit set filters, and then it shows me everything, bid side, ask side, for those particular stocks. And you can have it set up for only Tesla and Amazon and Apple, whatever you want. This is just my quick market scanner that I always have running. I want to see if they're selling SPY calls, they're buying Q puts, whatever the case may be. And I want to make sure that I'm looking at mostly over 100 grand, because anyone's sweeping, SPY calls for $30,000, like that's a drop in the bucket. That doesn't mean anything. Right. I want to look at like multiple $100,000, $1 million orders that are constantly being hit. That's the stuff that's going to move the market, because, behind the scenes, there's a market maker, right? Market makers get a bad rap. In my mind, they're really not that bad of a people. They simply just provide liquidity. Without market makers, we wouldn't be able to trade. But my point is, when a market maker sells a call, they have to hedge that position, because now they're short a call. And the easiest way for a market maker to sell or to hedge a short call is to buy stock itself. So if we're seeing excessive call buying over and over and over and over, market maker has no choice but to buy stock. So what does that do? That helps price move higher. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that will happen in the options market. Opposite, happens for when they're buying puts. Market maker has to short the stock to cover their position, and that can, put pressure on it, move it down. So watching to see if they're opening or closing some of these orders can kind of give you a feel of what's happening behind the scenes too.
Awesome answer. Thank you. Question coming in from Bronx. Do you set stop losses using premium price or stock price?
The quick way is, of course, the premium price. And for a lot of people, that makes sense. For me, I go an extra step, and I'll use a line on the chart, basically, a certain price level. Like with the case with AMD, let me just pull up that 5-minute chart again. If I'm buying a breakout, over 110 or whatever the case may be, I want to think about exiting that trade if price is not able to hold over 110. And with Thinkorswim, I'm not sure if they do this with other brokerages or not, but I can set my stop, and as I'm, moving the numbers where I want to get stopped out at, it will actually show me the estimated price of what AMD will need to be in order to stop me out. So let's say I bought, the 110 call it $1, and I want to set my stop at 80 cents, 20% stop loss. Thinkorswim will show me what price AMD needs to be in order to fill that. Might be 109.50, might be 109.25, whatever it may be. So I can kind of, gauge, how much distance and how much room I want to give it. I understand not everyone can do that. I watch the screens, the full, session I'm always watching, and I'm, monitoring my positions. But I think if you can, it can be helpful to base your stops on the chart instead of the contract premium, because maybe you get stopped out at 80 cents, but the price never fell below, the level. It was still trading right above support.
Right.
And then the move continues on without you. So that's not a good feeling either.
Awesome. Another question coming in from above current trend. What is Theta Warriors A+ 5-minute setup intraday?
And it's going to be that BRB.
Gotta be, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. I always look for flags and triangles, basically like any type of consolidation. And, the thing with consolidation is great, because what's happening is price is getting ready to make its next move. And as price is getting ready to make its next move, the volatility starts to come in. And that means that options prices are going to be cheaper. So we want to buy in consolidation or just as price is starting to exit consolidation. And then we're going to get that nice risk reward move, if we end up being on the right side. So all of like your classical technical analysis patterns I look for during the day. But even still, it doesn't matter if it's a triangle, if it's a box, if it's a flag, there's usually going to be some type of BRB where price moves out of that range, either holds or pulls back. I like to try and buy that pullback, and then you get the bounce and move higher, if I'm looking for more upside.
Awesome. Thank you. Very good question. Very good answer. City Boy 1907 wants to know what's a good resource to learn more about riding the Fisher wave, and is there more insight you can give on using this chart type?
So yeah, the Fisher transform. You can look at it on, Investopedia. I think has a really good write-up on it. It's basically, a mathematical formula that's derived from, different, intervals in price over time on a historical basis. So I couldn't tell you what the math is exactly. They have it on the website that you can find. But I think, just throw it up on your chart and, study where it pivots. I think that's what I use it for, is pivots. I like to say, okay, price is moving lower and lower and lower, but look, Fisher transform just, crossed to the upside. Maybe it's time to start looking for a reversal. So I think, just studying it on the chart can be really helpful.
Gotcha.
And I'll mention quickly, BRBs also work to the downside. So you can see kind of, this is Chewy, which I do trade a lot as well. You've got two areas of support, where price bounced. And then you've got a breakdown right here, and you can see that everyone's stop got hit. That's why, you've got that big red candle. Everyone's getting stopped out. Kind of made that a little too big. And then what do you have right after that? You've got a BRB.
There's your
Price
BRB.
revisits that level. It tries to poke through. Bears say nope, and they sell it right back down. They puke
Yes,
it.
sir.
So this is where I'm looking to get in on the put side. This is like ideal entry, right? Because everyone that bought right here is getting stopped out.
And it's fairly
Not
low
you.
risk, too, because you can set your stop rate above that area, right?
Man, you just touched on the most important part. That is the key. You can set a really tight stop. The beauty of buying the dip or selling the rip is like you'll know if you're wrong really quickly, and you can use a tighter stop. That's exactly it. And that's a great form of risk management right there.
Mm-hmm.
So BRBs happen both to the downside and the upside.
Gotcha. No, that's really important to cover. Thank you for that. Moving on. This is an interesting one from Moto Drifter. How do you differentiate between a hedge and a bullish/bearish bet and flow when a large order comes in?
That's always a good question, and it's always difficult to say. It's impossible to say 100%, But I think certain flow, you can tell, if it's just a hedge or not. Something like really short dated, like for example, puts. Most people are going to hedge a long position with puts, right? Anything like short dated, I don't think would be a hedge. Usually if you're going to hedge a long position, you're going to buy a little bit of time, I would think. So something a little bit farther out of the money, cheap delta as a hedge, I think would be more likely. But, if price is moving lower and they're hitting puts after puts after puts, that's just, bearish bets. So, like for example, let me pull it up actually. Good question.
Yeah.
So Apple today, I was looking at, and there was a huge sweeper in Apple buying up all kinds of in the money puts. Let's see. Let me filter it over 500K. So you can see, we'll just look at the ask side. Bear with me just a second.
No, you're good. It's cool to see how you set it up, so this is good too.
Yeah, sorry, I probably just went through it too quickly. I've done it like a million times,
Yeah,
so it's
of
just
course.
really quick in my mind. This trader came in, and maybe it's multiple people, but look at these multiple millions, 9 million, 2 million, almost
Wow.
$12 million. They're buying in the money puts. Yes, this is short dated premium, but these ones in April kind of go out a little bit farther. I don't know. There's a part of me that wonders if maybe this is a hedge. They're paying a lot for them, so it's difficult to say, but price is continuing to move higher and they're still buying more of these. So maybe they're buying the stock at the same time. Black box is great. You can look at the dark pool. I haven't even checked this, but maybe we'll discover it together here. We can see if there was some large dark pools happening around that same time. We've got one at 11 for 88 million, another at 11.15 at 101 million. So maybe this trader was just buying puts as a hedge at the same time they're buying the stock. You never know.
Right.
It's hard to say exactly the intention behind it without knowing the trader's full position.
So could you expand a little bit on dark pool and how you like to use it?
Yeah, actually, great question. So dark pool, everyone's always wondering, is it bullish or bearish?
Right.
Well, we don't know, because in every transaction, there's always going to be a buyer and a seller. So just looking at, this level being dark pool, is it a buy or a sell? Who knows? The way I look at it is support and resistance. And that's the way that Mel, who's the resident expert dark pool person at Black Box Stocks, basically taught me how to trade it.
Right.
And you can see as price is moving higher and higher, it pulls back and it tested this top dark pool level. We got a nice bounce. Later on in the day, it did the same thing, pulled back, and we got a nice bounce. And then it pushed higher. So if you've got a dark pool level, price is moving above it, look for when it comes back if it acts as support. I think that's the best way to use dark pool. And the opposite would be, on the downside, look to see if on the rip it hits resistance as it moves to that dark pool level. Because essentially all we know is that hedge funds are going to be active at this certain price. Maybe they're looking to get in, maybe they're looking to get out. It's unclear.
Right.
But I think it's just an extra, support resistance level you can use.
I might be overthinking it, but can you or have you ever played a BRB on a dark pool level?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, didn't know.
Yeah.
Let me cover a few more questions here in chat. Lots coming in. Love to see it. Thanks for all the questions, guys. Appreciate it. One quick one is, how do you move your stop loss so quickly and under which chart? 1 minute or 5 minutes? Sorry.
So I used to trade a lot on the 1 minute. For me personally, I prefer the 5 minute and the 15 minute. I just find that the 1 minute is, way too much chop and volatility, and just, can be kind of difficult sometimes to see actually what's going on. Some traders love the 1 minute. More power to them. Nothing wrong with that at all. If you like it, that's totally fine. But I like to look at the 5 minute, and basically, I'll have my stops up on the chart, and, there's a way in Thinkorswim you can just like click and drag it and move it. You can also right click it and enter in the value and change it that way. Different brokerages are going to handle it different ways, but I like Thinkorswim because it allows me to chart and trade all in the same place versus, trading in, E-Trade and then referencing Thinkorswim or TrendSpider or whatever the situation may be.
Gotcha.
And trail stops are great too. I'll mention, sometimes if price is moving in a parabolic fashion, I'll just set, a 10 cent, 20 cent, whatever the case may be, trail stop on it. And, just sit back and relax and, hope that it continues moving.
Yeah.
You're going to get taken out of profit. And, there's no greater feeling than being in a winning trade with a trail stop in, knowing no matter what happens, you're going to make money. It's a good feeling.
100%, man. So speaking of trailing stops, it kind of just brought something up in my mind. How would you, do you have any tips that maybe you would have given yourself or whatever for someone trying to trade or learn how to trade while they're working a full-time job? Like, how can someone balance a job and trading, and is it even possible?
I think it's possible. I did it. My prior bosses probably wouldn't like to hear that, but I did it. I think the key is, focusing on a time frame that makes sense. Day trading may not be the best thing for some people, if they can't focus on it all the time, which I think you need to if you're day trading. But, certainly like a swing trade, go out in expiration, 30 days, 60 days, or what have you. Like gold was a great example of an awesome swing trade this year that we were trading last week. And, for different economic reasons, gold, has had this big parabolic move. You can buy, the 180 call, the 190 call out 30, 60 days. You can get the spread, whatever you want. And, just let it ride and just let it do its thing. Moves like this, I think, are going to be better suited for people that can't watch it and monitor it 24/7. Just finding the right time frame that works for you, I think, is going to be great. Another thing, and I used to do a lot more of this, is selling premium. And with a smaller account, you probably won't be able to sell naked calls and puts, but you can look into credit spreads. So let's say you're bullish on gold and you don't know how high it's going to go. Maybe you sell the 170, 165 put spread. And as price moves higher, you're going to make money from being short that premium. And you can do that with any stock you want. So that can be a great way to make money on a smaller account. You can't watch it all the time. The nice thing about being short premium is, as long as the price stays out of the money for your short strike, you're going to make money. It doesn't matter if it stays flat, if it goes higher, if it goes lower. As long as you're not in the money, you're going to make money. So I think overall, people that are, traders that are short premium make more money more consistently. Okay. It's just like going to be a smaller gain, basically.
That's interesting. So we've never covered credit spreads. That's what it's called, right? Did I mess it up?
Yeah, credit spread.
Yeah, we've never covered them on the stream before. Do you want to kind of, I don't know if you have like a more like a simple way to kind of explain it really quick?
Yeah. So AMD is a good example. Back
Sure.
to AMD again. You can tell I trade this all the time.
Love it.
AMD has got a huge support level at $100. You can see this is a daily time frame. We're going back to 2021 January. Look how many times this thing has either hit resistance or bounced right from this level. So as price is coming down here, maybe instead of buying a call, you sell the 90 put and then you buy the 80 put for protection. Like I said, probably won't be able to do it naked in a smaller account. If you sell 190 put, you're on the hook for $9,000. But if you buy the 80 put for protection, you basically, your risk is going to be the width of the spread minus what you pay. So in this example, you're short the 90, you're long the 80. Let's say you sell it for $3. You're going to make $3 as long as AMD stays above 90, and your risk is going to be 7. So again, you have a higher risk, but it's very likely that AMD, unless it completely rolls over, is going to stay above 90. It may stay, at 100, it may rip to 120, but you're selling a credit spread, a put credit spread, as price is coming down to a support level. That's usually going to be a good bet. And the same thing goes on the opposite side. As price is moving higher towards resistance, maybe you look to sell a credit spread. maybe you sell the 130 call and you buy the 140 call for protection. So that's just like the
Okay.
flip side of the bet, basically.
Interesting. It's funny as you were saying that. Like in my head, I was like, "Wow, there's so many options." Then I was like, "Oh shit."
That's why they call them options.
Yeah, right. Um, on that topic, do you ever trade like lottos or earning plays?
So lottos, yes. Every
Okay.
Friday, I'm pretty active in Lotto Friday.
Let's go.
I'm a big lover and supporter of Lotto Friday. I think the risk reward is crazy amazing.
Yeah.
That's when I'll get my multiple 100% gainers.
Right.
Is on Lotto Friday. Earnings, I used to trade a lot. I kind of found that I was hit or miss again, 50-50, and I don't like those odds, so I stayed away from earnings. I don't trade them anymore.
Yeah.
Rare occasion I'll get involved, but for the most part, no. But certainly lottos, yeah. I mean, a 0 DTE contract can really move.
100%. Yeah, we see your Lotto Fridays every week, so you can check that out on Twitter, guys. One more question here. Actually, a couple more. So one thing I wanted to touch on was expirations. What expirations are you using when you're day trading?
So for day trades, mostly I stick to the weeklies.
Gotcha.
Like on a Monday or a Tuesday, I'll buy Friday's contracts. Sometimes on a Thursday, maybe I'll go out to the next week if I plan on holding it overnight or something. But certainly day trades, I think the weeklies make a lot of sense. For swings, I'll go out 30, 60 days. It really depends on how long I expect the move to take place. The farther you go out in expiration, the lower the theta is going to be. So, it's going to move against you more slowly, if price just sits. So time is always a nice luxury. That's why they're more expensive, is because they have more premium, more time built into them. But yeah, I find myself trading a little bit of both. Just depends on the situation.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, I lost the last question here. If you want to just run through your EMAs really quick again, the ones that you like to
Sure.
use.
So I actually use SMA.
Oh,
And I'll
SMA, sorry.
explain why.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, no problem. So the 8, the 50, and the 100 and the 200 are the main ones that I use. You can kind of see them right over here on the left. And the difference between an SMA and an EMA, simple versus exponential, is exponential will give more weighting to the more recent price than it will, backdated price. And that's fine. But for me, I think that, the moving average should give equal weight to all price. Doesn't matter if it's a year from now, or I'm sorry, a year ago or 6 months ago. I think that, and AMD is a good example. Price has hovered around this, $100 level for the better course of, 2 years almost now, or a year and a half or whatever. So the price that hovered around this point is still important. There's no reason to ignore it. So simple moving average, I think, just gives you a better, well-rounded moving average. EMAs may be better for, lower time frame stuff, day trades and whatnot. Like I said, I don't really use a lot of moving averages for day trades, but SMA is what I learned on, and that's what I'm most comfortable with. The 8 and the 21 are really good for, shorter time frame moves, like when you get an 8 crossover for the 21. Again, this is a choppy market, but you can see, perfect example right here. So my 8 SMA is the blue one. My purple SMA is the 21. And you can see, not only did you get that nice downtrend break, there's another BRB, but you also got that 8 crossover that 21. That's your buy signal. That's when you're getting in right there. And you ride it all the way up as long as price, holds above that 8 SMA, and then you might sell as it comes below it. Certainly want to be out by the time the 8 crosses back below the 21. Yeah, they can just give you, a simple glance. You can kind of understand, the trend of price.
Got you. No, thank you for the walkthrough on that.
Yeah.
So we're moving towards probably the close to the end of the interview here. So one thing I like to ask during the closing sort of part is if someone is struggling to kind of find their trading strategy, do you have any tips on really locking down what someone is good at, what they're bad at. Like maybe they're flying through different strategies too quickly, or do you have anything to kind of comment on finding your trading strategy?
Yeah, sure, of course. So Bruce Lee has a great quote. I don't fear the man that knows 10,000 kicks. I fear the man that's practiced one kick 10,000 times. I think that that's really true, especially when it comes to trading. So, like I said, my 10,000 kicks that I've practiced are BRB breakouts. That's what I'm really comfortable with, and that's what I'm familiar with, and that's what I trade. So, I think, and I only found that by trial and error. I tried other means of trading beforehand that, didn't work. So, I had to, tweak my method, my model. I think that, in the beginning, it's good to, study. I have a whole bookcase full of books that I've read, and again, YouTube videos. Twitter is great. Accounts like yourself, offering tons of great free educational material, kind of get a glimpse into other traders' thinking. A book I would recommend anyone should read is Market Wizards. It's just a great insight into some of the top traders. There's different volumes and series you can look at, kind of give you like a thinking of how these guys, process trades and, what they do when things don't work out and when things do work out, and, just can kind of give you some insight. So I think, just be like a sponge and just take everything in, and push anything out that doesn't make sense and doesn't work for you. And I think that's how you're going to find, what works best. And paper trade it. Figure it out in paper trading. Before you risk your own real money, paper trading is there for a reason. So use it.
100%, man. How does Stata? Sorry, this is from Disco Deets in chat. How does Stata use volume to trade? Do you use it to get in or out of trades?
Yeah, for sure. So typically during a consolidation, you'll see volume decrease. And then once a move takes place, you'll see volume come in. That can be really good confirmation that a move is going to continue. Now, if you see price start to move out of consolidation and volume doesn't come in, that can be like a red flag. AMD right here, we can see during this little bull flag, just throw the lines on there, you saw that volume really dried up quite a bit. It's almost anemic. And then as you get this breakout, tons of volume is coming in. So that can be a good indicator that, we're going to keep moving higher. And sure enough, we did. So using volume as a confirmation, I think can be a powerful tool.
And a follow up on that one in chat is, do you look for volume when you go short?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, volume to the downside or the upside.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter which way the move occurs, as long as I'm on the right side, that's my only goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's puts or calls, it makes no difference to me. Certainly volume to the downside as it's breaking down from a consolidation can be very powerful as well.
Something I want to point out about your chart too is, Mel does the same thing, is your volume bars are actually gray instead of green and red. Why is that important?
I think that people get too caught up in, is it buying volume or selling volume? I mean, maybe this day right here, was actually more buying volume than it was, selling volume, but the candle is still red just because at the end of the day, they sold it off below the open. Who knows what happened that day.
Right.
But I think that just looking at volume, in terms of the number of, participants in the market is a more important tool than, if it's a green day or a red day. I think that can be misleading. Another little thing that I'll do, and I don't have it on this chart, is I'll just make all of the candles one color. So that really allows me to just study the actual structure of price. I use white, doesn't matter. You can use pink or blue, whatever you prefer. But I'll take out the green and the red, and I'll just study price.
That's really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, give it a shot. If you because just because a candle is green, maybe it's an exhaustion candle like this one right here.
Right.
Maybe that's an exhaustion candle, which it ended up being. You can see the volume peaked right there. Price opened at the low, did not close on the high, and then the next day it rolled over. So if that's just a normal color candle, maybe you could spot that easier than saying, oh, it's a green candle, it's got to move higher.
Right.
That can be misleading sometimes.
No, 100%. Airbud in chat wants to know if you can just expand on the volume a little bit, as in how do you know when to enter on the when to enter a trade on the first big volume candle or the second? That's kind of his question.
Well, I think like the more confirmation you have, the better. Sometimes with a move, once it gets going, it'll just go. I mean, not every time do you get a BRB. When price is nice enough to give us one, I think that can provide the best entry. What you'll kind of want to look for is basically for volume to come in as price is moving out of a consolidation. And then during the pullback, volume should die off. That's usually a good indicator that you're going to get a nice BRB. If volume starts to decrease as price is pulling back, that's a good idea that maybe you want to look for an entry. And then on the turn, as it continues to move higher, volume come back in again. That can be great confirmation there. So kind of like a 3 candle confirmation.
Gotcha. Perfect answer. Really cool trick on how to look at price action from a completely different perspective. Theta is the GOAT. Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
100%. So what I'd like to do to kind of we got one more question here. We'll take one more question and then we'll talk about your Discord.
Okay, great.
How much do you think these moves sorry, let me just read this. How much do you think these moves are macro related versus TA right now?
I think they're one and the same, honestly.
Right.
I think that the market is always going to be forward looking, usually about 6 months to a year. And I think that, all of the participants in the market are what move it, right? The collective hive mind. So everyone's basically fear and greed is the two main things that are moving the market. And that is what's going to make up these patterns. So we'll just look at like SPY really quickly. Everyone's been wondering, is this going to be a head and shoulders? It might be. I think actually the Qs are a better example. I've kind of got my head and shoulders lined out right here.
Mm-hmm.
This can be a powerful topping tool. And, the market started forming this pattern, months and months ago, long before the Fed said they were going to raise rates and before there was any conflict, over in Europe. So, did the market know that this was going to happen? I don't know. Maybe not. But I think that they are, in large part, one and the same. The patterns and the macro environment often will line up. And you'll look back and say, aha, the market was telling us a while back, but we just didn't pay attention.
Right. No, I love that. So going into, the rest of the week, maybe next week, is there anything that you kind of got your eye on, anything you're watching?
Yeah, totally. So I'll give you one of my top picks for tomorrow, actually.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Premium content. Okay.
It's going to be Tesla. And
Nice.
I posted this chart earlier today. And actually, it was this one here. Yeah. So Tesla, to me, looks like it's getting ready to break out.
Okay.
On a macro scale, this is a downtrend, right? I think the market is in a downtrend as well. And I do think that we will continue lower over the next couple weeks, months. But that doesn't mean that we can't get a couple nice moves to the upside, in between. So you've got, a falling wedge, you've got a downtrend, you've got a little consolidation just below that resistance level that now price is just starting to poke its head out of. If we get a move higher in the market tomorrow, if we get follow through to the upside, I think this is a prime candidate to continue up. 900 seems to be like the big level to watch for Tesla. And as we all know, Tesla can have explosive moves in one day, move $100, $200. And, maybe we'll get a nice move tomorrow, $50, would do it for me. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tesla, I think is one to keep an eye on. Just got above that 200-day moving average, which is another critical thing.
Right.
So definitely something to watch tomorrow would be Tesla.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go over kind of your Discord, your home where you like to trade, and if you want to, even if you want to kind of show it on stream, that's fine too. Where can we access that, and how much is it going to cost?
Yeah, of course. So let me see. Can you see my Discord here?
No, you might actually have to stop sharing this screen and share the Discord screen.
Got it.
And also, thank you guys for all the follows tonight. I really, really appreciate it. I think Theta brought in like 50 followers. That's super cool. We're on the road to 4,000 on Twitch. I appreciate that. If you guys are enjoying the content, you can also sub to the stream to kind of, give me a little tip. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to you. It's totally optional. This is all free content.
Absolutely. I subbed tonight. This is my first time doing a Twitch, and I appreciate you having me on. This is a lot of fun, and thank you everyone for tuning in and joining. And yeah, this was great. We'll have to do it again sometime.
100%, man. Oh, here, I just got to mute this. There we go.
All right. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is our Discord, Theta Warrior Elite Discord. We've got all the simple welcome stuff, but right here is where I post all my trades, the different trades that I get in. I post different trade ideas, the night before, things that I'm looking at for the following day. And then the trading pit is where we're going to all hang out and talk and discuss different trades. There's a lot of good traders in here. This guy right here shouting us out on Twitch. That's awesome.
Let's go.
And lots of different eyeballs on a lot of different things. So, I only have 2 eyeballs. I got 4 screens. But, with everyone that's in here, usually there's about 600 of us or so during the day. We're all looking at all different kinds of stuff. So a lot of time these guys will come up with ideas and see things that maybe I didn't see right away. I'll take a look at it, and make a decision based off of that. So we're all, helping each other out and tipping each other off to different things.
That's awesome.
We got a nice little lounge area where people can hang out and discuss different ideas. Of course, we've got the gains section, people posting, different gains they made during the day, which is awesome. And then we've actually got a crypto room, different crypto alerts, crypto chat for anyone that's interested in crypto. And then I've also got, a Twitter VIP, I call it. So basically, a feed of just myself, Delta One, Jake from TrendSpider, people I find that really offer some great content. There's Wall Street Jesus, basically anyone that I think is going to directly impact and help my trading throughout the day. I get that little pop-up on the right side of my screen and I say, okay, Jesus is looking at this, etc. So that's a nice little tip. And then for access to this, it's $49 a month.
Gotcha.
I hope I can help people make $49 a month. That should be a pretty fairly simple target. Crypto is going to be $37. We've got, different packages that you can buy. Of course, we'll give you a deal if you get both. Let me go to the website here.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Sure. Absolutely.
So let me know if you can see. This is my website here.
We're good. Bro, your merch, by the way, is fire, man. I love your merch.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, it's super cool.
I work with a great company, and they really make a nice product. I designed all this stuff myself, and yeah, I appreciate that. I wear a lot of it all the time, too. It's crazy.
It's like such like Lamborghini, like high-class vibes.
Dude, I love that. That's awesome. That's a great description. I might need to quote you on that.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Before I get into the service, actually, because I'm all about helping retail, I am retail. I want to help people. So I have a ton of free educational material, the Theta Warrior University. I go over, my positioning checklist, understanding the Greeks, which is basically what's going to comprise all contracts, different options, strategies, why to use a stop loss, basically different things that I think are important that I want to make sure people understand. I've got a write up on butterflies like we talked about earlier. So if anyone wants to check that out, it's all free. It's on the website. And then at the very bottom, I've got a reading list. So these are some of the books that I've read, I think are great. And anyone that's interested in learning more about options, technical analysis, investing, having the right mindset, everything, all really important things for traders. Definitely do yourself a favor and get a couple of these books. But to sign up, if you want to join the Elite, it's right under here, under services. And you can see we've got different packages, and I won't bore you with any more details, but you can see we've got, our trades listed on the bottom, crypto trades. So try and be transparent and show, what type of returns we're making. And yeah, if anyone wants to join, we'd be more than happy to have you. And we've got a great team of traders in the group. So with this, you'll get access to the private Twitter, the Discord, everything.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for showing us that. So that's where you sign up, guys. In the links in your bio on Twitter.
Yeah, the link's in the bio on the Twitter. The website's Theta Warrior Pro.
Perfect.
But yeah, if you go to my Twitter right here, ThetaWarriorPro.com.
Awesome. Thank you for showing us that. So that's where you can go, guys. Head over to Theta Warrior's Twitter, and right there in the description, or in his bio, sorry, is where you can find the link if you want to sign up and get more of this great content and, you know, figure out how to take the power back as retail and, you know, change your life potentially, right? So
That's exactly right. That's the goal.
yeah, man. Anything else you wanna touch on or shout out or anything like that?
And I just want to say thank you. You know, I love your channel and your feed and your following, and I just want to say thank you for bringing me on and giving me the opportunity. I love discussing all things trading, so let's definitely do this another time. I might have to have you on my YouTube channel, actually.
Yo, that'd be awesome, man. I'd love that. Thank you for the compliment. I truly appreciate that. I've been following you for, you know, forever. A big fan. So your content is fire,
man.
Thank you very much. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Keep doing what you're doing, and thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm always available. If you have questions, shoot me a comment or whatever, and I'm always happy to help.
Definitely. So we already had a request in chat for you to come back, and maybe we can talk more advanced option strategies, like how are you discussing butterflies and kind of the complex strategies. So I'd love to do one of those with you at some point as well. But
yeah, I like that, and I'll have like an options chain open so we can, you know, maybe paper trade it and actually visualize it. It's a great idea.
That'd be so cool. 100%. So we'll have to do that. So look forward to that, guys. That'd be super cool. For everyone new to my channel, I do Monday nights, Wednesday nights with guests just like this. On the weekends, if I can plan it out properly, the weekends I'll either take off or I'll have Trader Spotlight. This is kind of a special one tonight. And then Friday nights, it's just kind of like a chill. Sometimes we you know, have a couple beers. Sometimes we play some games and kind of do some life updates on Friday nights. So if you enjoy the content, thank you for the follow. Yeah, and thanks for coming on, man. This was truly awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you. This was awesome. Let's definitely do it again.
100%, man. All right, I think we'll wrap up there, guys. Type 1 in chat if you enjoyed the stream tonight. And thank you so much for joining me. And we'll, you know, we'll see you tomorrow in the markets.
Yeah. Good luck to you. Good luck, everyone. And let's close the week out strong.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Theta.
All right, Mr. 100. Take care.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
All right, guys. That was Theta Warrior. You guys enjoy that stream tonight? Yes, sir. Dude, that was awesome. That was awesome, man. I know I learned a shit ton, okay? I was going to censor that, but I couldn't think of anything to censor with, so I learned a shit ton, all right? Look, I even got dressed up tonight. I never get dressed up. You kidding me? Okay. That was awesome. Thanks, Kat. I appreciate that. Looking fancy, you know. Nice interview. Thanks, Curtain Guy. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Definitely. So if you guys are interested, this will be recorded, and it is available to watch as soon as I hit that end stream button on my Twitch channel under videos, and it will be posted to my YouTube channel as well. Let me link that to you guys in the chat. That's YouTube. We post all the interviews there. Immaculate Vibes with the music. What song? This is Jason by The Midnight. Big fan of The Midnight. You're going to hear a lot of that if you hang out here. Once again, shout out to Kat on the line. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted today. I appreciate it. And the resubs as well. And the follows tonight. All right, thanks, guys. That's going to be it for me tonight. I love and appreciate every single one of you. And I stream almost every single day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully you had a great time today. I'm going to let this song play out, so if you enjoy it, you know, catch the vibe. You know how it is. Okay? We'll see you next time, guys. 100 out.